So you've fallen on hard times, your income is depleted or low, and you get a judgment or an enforcement. You still have rights. I want you to check this out. Minimum Basic Standards of Adequate Care, MBSAC. A tool used by California's Department of Social Services to determine CalWORKs eligibility. Doesn't mean you have to be on CalWORKs. This is just the eligibility tool. The MBSAC is a limit that is compared to your countable income. If your family's countable income is lower than the MBSAC for a family in your situation, your family will be eligible for a CalWORKs cash benefit. The MBSAC limit depends on how many people are in your family and whether you live in Region 1 or 2. Region 1 includes the more urban counties, and you see them listed there, where cost of living is higher, so the MBSAC is correspondingly higher. Region 2 includes the more rural counties, all of the ones not listed above. So note, the MBSAC limit is not your benefit amount. It's simply a tool to determine whether your family is eligible for CalWORKs. So here you see the minimum basic standards of adequate care, MBSAC levels, and regions and family size. So for a family size of 3 in Region 1, that's going to be $1,753. For a family size of 3 in Region 2, it's going to be $1,664. For 4, $2,080. For in Region 2, 1978. So that's how you would read that. As you can see, I'm just going along right there. And let me show you how this applies to judgments and judgments being enforced. California Code of Civil Procedure, CCP Part 2 of Civil Actions, Title 9, Enforcement of Judgments, Division 9, Enforcement of Money Judgments, Chapter 4, Exemptions, Article 3, Exempt Property. Y'all that have enforcements or judgments are going to want to know about this. All right, so as you can see, it is section 704.220, California Civil Code, section 704.220, A, money in the judgment debtor's deposit account in an amount equal to or less than the minimum basic standard of adequate care for a family of 4 for Region 1, established by section 1142 of the Welfare and Institutions Code, and as annually adjusted by the State Department of Social Services pursuant to section 11453 of the Welfare and Institutions Code, is exempt without making a claim. B1, subdivision A, does not preclude or reduce a judgment debtor's right to any other exemption provided by state or federal law. 2, if the financial institution holding the judgment debtor's deposit account has actual knowledge that the judgment debtor is entitled to one or more exemptions, that financial institution is required to apply pursuant to federal or state law other than that set forth in subdivision A, the following shall apply. A, if the sum of the amount of money in the deposit account that would be exempt from levy under the additional exemptions is less than or equal to the amount set forth in subdivision A. The additional exemptions described in this paragraph shall be considered encompassed with the exemption set forth in subdivision A, and subdivision A shall apply. If the sum of the amount of money in the deposit account that would be exempt from levy under the additional exemptions is greater than the amount set forth in subdivision A, subdivision A shall not apply, and instead money in the deposit account equal to or less than the sum of the additional exemption is exempt without making a claim. C, subdivision A does not apply to money levied upon to satisfy any of the following. 1, a levy to satisfy a judgment for wages owed, child support, or spousal support. For purposes of this paragraph, wages owed includes damages and penalties. 2, a provision of Public Resources Code, Revenue and Taxation Code, or Unemployment Insurance Code. 3, a warrant or notice of levy issued by the state or any department or agency thereof for the collection of a liability. D, a levy against a judgment debtor's deposit account shall include a written description of the requirements of this section. E, 1, the exemption applies per debtor, not per account. 2, if a judgment debtor holds an interest in multiple accounts at a single financial institution, the judgment creditor or judgment debtor may file an ex parte application in the Superior Court in which the judgment was entered for a hearing to establish how how and to which account the exemption should apply. Subject to a service of an order issued in that hearing, if any, the financial institution may determine how and to which account the exemption should be applied. This paragraph does not create a cause of action against a judgment creditor who executes a levy or against a financial institution that complies with the levy pursuant to the court's determination. 3. If a judgment debtor holds an interest in the multiple accounts at 2 or more financial institutions, the judgment creditor shall and the judgment debtor may file an ex parte application in the Superior Court in which the judgment was entered for a hearing to establish how and to which account the exemption should be applied. Subject to a service of an order issued in that hearing, if any, the financial institution shall comply with the levy subject to the exemption. The paragraph does not create a cause of action against a judgment creditor who executes a levy or against a financial institution which complies with the levy pursuant to the court's determination. F. Subdivision E of Section 700.140 applies to a financial institution acting under this section. The Judicial Council shall amend or adopt all forms necessary to implement this section. The form shall clearly delineate the amount of funds exempt from the levy by a financial institution, including funds exempted by this section. This section shall become operative on September 1st, 2020. So if you meet all of these minimum basic standards of adequate care level and none of the following apply, by which you can be levied or, the judgment enforced, and your bank takes the money anyway, know that they're not in compliance of this rule through Assembly Bill 176, or like you saw earlier, the code, right? And you need to notify them that they're not in compliance, and they need to annually update their policies and procedures to be in compliance. I hope this helps.
Hey, running high where the dust settles. Get ready, cause I'm on another level.